presented by EA Game Changers. What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here with your first official tip video of Madden 19. I'm going to break down 5 really good runs to start the year off for you in Madden 19. The first one we're going to look at is the pistol bunch tight end halfback zone. This was one of the best runs last year, and it's still a pretty good run this year. You definitely want to flip this run to the left side and run behind your wide receivers because the blocking just tends to set up better that way. If you want to plug a tight end or two in there where the wide receivers are at for some extra run block support, that'll make the run even better. But even if you just leave your wide receivers out there, just try to put your best run blocking wide receivers in that spot, and this is going to be a run that you can get consistent 5 yards with. It's not really something to expect home run hits with. It's not as good as last year in my opinion, but it is still a very good run. And you can definitely, get a solid 5 yards usually when you run this. And there's so many good passing plays out of this formation, like the cross drag and the verticals. So you definitely have the passing threat to keep your opponent honest. If this is your first time checking out my channel and you're interested in more Madden 19 videos, especially tips and tricks, that's my specialty. I'll be dropping those all year long, one a day, pretty much every single day, some gameplays in there as well. So if you're interested in that, definitely hit the sub button and hit the bell so that you never miss any of the uploads. But anyway, back to the halfback zone. As you can see, consistently getting a good 5 yards a pop. Every now and then we might get a little bit more. Every now and then maybe you get 4 yards, but it's just a very consistent run. And definitely one of the best ones to start the year off with, in my opinion. I know the pistol bunch tight end is definitely in the Saints playbook. I believe it is still in the Cardinals playbook as well. But those are probably the 2 best playbooks that you can find this formation in. As you see here, when you're able to get to the outside, when you get a decent seal, you usually can get around that 10+ yard range. But definitely one of the better runs to start the year with. The next run I want to touch on is out of the IForm slot flex, and this is a run that used to be really good. It's the Saints halfback zone. I believe this is only in the Saints playbook, as far as I know. This is another run you're going to want to typically flip to the left side and run behind your wide receivers, and you'll just notice that the running lanes typically open up very nicely on this run. This was one of the most overpowered runs in the game a few years back. It dominated the game, and since then it's just been okay. It hasn't been great, but I found that the little bit of time that I had on the game, this run definitely seemed pretty consistent to me, especially if you have some good run blocking wide receivers over there to the left that can hold their block. You just have to kind of pay attention to how it sets up. Sometimes you're going to want to cut it back up. Sometimes you're going to want to take it outside. If people try to run a goal line type defense on you, this usually you can get to the outside with this and still pick up 5+ yards, as you can see, because anytime somebody comes out in a goal line defense to stop you, if you have an outside run, you can typically get to the outside pretty decently. But as you see, the running lanes just open up very nicely on this run. You don't want to mash turbo. You want to just follow your blockers, hit the hole, and get upfield. As you see here, another goal line defense, and we take it untouched for a touchdown. Goal line defense, I mean, that's not something you're probably going to run into against an experienced player, of course, but every now and then online you get more of a beginner or average player. You're pounding them with the run, they might try to go goal line on you and think that's the answer. These outside type runs do a really good job at still, shedding goal line and making them pay. You can still take this to the right. It's not a terrible run to the right. You can still get some decent running lanes. I just find that it's better to take it to the left. The right side is just wide open for whatever reason. There's nothing wrong with taking it to the right side. As you can see, you still have the ability to get some decent yards with it to the right, but I find that it's definitely more consistent to the left. The number 3 run on this list we want to look at is out of the single back wing tight end. It is the halfback stretch. This run is in a ton of playbooks. It's in at least half the playbooks in the game. Right now I'm in the Saints playbook, but this is definitely in at least half, if not more than half of the playbooks in the game. Typically with this run, you can just take it to whichever side is green. When you hold the right trigger or the R2 button, it'll show you which side is green and which side is red. Typically, taking it to the green side will provide you with a decent gain. It's usually a solid 5-yard gainer. But with this run in particular, I find that even when it's red to the left side, this run is still very good to the left side. I find that it works better to the left than to the right. So typically when I would run this in game, I would flip it to the left the majority of the time because it just seemed so consistent to the left. The only time I would honestly take it right when I was playing is if the right was just super wide open. As you see here, again, goal line, we take a stretch and we're untouched for a touchdown. So as you can see, some of these good runs even pop goal line because most of these are outside runs that I'm showing you because those are typically the best runs in the game. And this one is it's no exception. The stretch is been one of the better runs, more consistent runs the past few years. There's a bunch of good stretches in the game, but this early on was one that I found to be very good and consistent. Like I said, you can take it to whichever side is green if you want to be safe, but I find that flipping it to the left, for me, gave me a consistent good gain almost every single time. So that's the number 3 run on the list. Next, we're going to go to last year's very popular run out of the single back tight slots, the halfback pitch. Still a decent run this year. It doesn't seem as good as it was last year, so I'm sure that'll make a lot of people happy. Last year, this run was very good. If you didn't know specifically how to stop this run, you know, if you knew how to stop it, you could kind of contain it, but the halfback dive element of the formation 2 made it tough at times. It's not that tough this year. It's definitely still a good run to use, especially for people that have trouble stopping outside runs. As you can see, it's consistently going to get 5+ yards if you follow your blockers. You don't want to jam on turbo right away. That's one of the best running tips I can give you. Don't ever mash turbo right away until you see the lanes open up, because sometimes it causes block shed to happen quicker. And with a run like this, you don't need to spam it right away. You want to let the block set up and decide, do you need to take it outside? And if you decide that you have to take it outside, then you go on turbo. But sometimes you're going to want to take it back up the middle, because that's going to be where your most success is going to be. As you see here, again, another goal line defense. Goal line can't really stop these outside runs that well, so if somebody tries to pull that out on you, you know that you're in good hands with these runs. Again, you see here, we kind of took it more up the middle. We didn't go straight to the outside. It just depends how the block's set up for you. So now we're going to go to the 5th run on the list, which I think is the best run in the game. It is out of the pistol week. This run was very good in Madden 18, and it is still very good in Madden 19. It is the triple option. You can find this in the Panthers playbook. What you want to do is when you run the triple option, you want to always hand it off to the first guy. You don't actually want to carry out the option. You want to always hand it off to the first guy. You do this by, on Xbox, holding down the A button as soon as you hike the ball. You just hold the A button and it'll hand it off to your guy. If you're on PlayStation, you want to hold down the X button, and you will see consistently just how good this run is. This run is, I think, early on going to be one of the best runs in the game. It was a problem to stop last year, and it seems to be really just as good to me this year. You can see sometimes you want to take it outside, sometimes you want to cut up the middle, as McCaffrey just put a mean juke move on the defender there. That was a pretty sick juke move. Here you're going to see, again, goal line. We're going to hit a spin move here and take that to the house, but you know, the juke moves and the spin moves still work pretty good this year, so you definitely want to incorporate those in the run game when you have the opportunity, when you have those one-on-ones. You want to try to make your guy miss, but you'll see, I'm going to still run this a few more times. Super consistent run. Just hold A on Xbox, hold X on PS4, get to the outside. Another good juke move there by McCaffrey, and you can make some people miss. You can make some big runs. I'm going to throw in an honorable mention here for you out of the IForm wing. It is none other than the Power G. This has been a pretty good run the last couple of years, so really you're getting 6 runs instead of 5. I'm throwing this one in for you because I had some footage of it, and I was like, you know what, I want to throw this in the video as well. This is one of the best short yardage runs in the game. You just want to follow your blockers. Again, very important not to hold turbo behind the line of scrimmage with this run. You want to just follow your fullback. Your fullback, more times than not on this play, will lead you to the promised land. It'll lead you to the positive yardage, and you'll see that this is a very consistent 4 to 5 yard run. This is, to me, one of the best short yardage runs in the game. If you're on that, you know, 2nd and 2, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, and you need a good run play, you know, as long as you're pretty sure that your opponent won't run commit on you, you're going to want to pull this out for sure. Here I'm doing some very bad juking there. That should have been a touchdown. But this is going to be just one of the best short yardage runs in the game for you. This is also in a good bit of playbooks. I'm in the Panthers playbook right here, but this is definitely in a decent handful of playbooks. As you can see consistently, as we put another mean juke move on the defender there, you're going to get a lot of good yards with this if you just stay behind your fullback and, you know, don't hold turbo. Just be safe with it. I want to throw another honorable mention there. I didn't get a chance to capture footage on this. My time was limited, but the 0-1 trap out of deuce close is also another very good run. That's in a decent amount of playbooks. Halfback wham isn't as good as years past, so don't really look to that, but definitely you want to look to the 0-1 trap out of deuce close. Some deuce closes have that run this year, and that's also another very consistent run. Me and a couple other people found that to be you know, a very good run when we were you know, practicing on the game. So that's all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, as always, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.